Everybody and welcome back to a new video. It is great to be making a new video again. Today we are going to be talking about something new, something distinct, for a topic which again I am really intrigued about as such, and I think all of you also will be very intrigued about when I am going to be talking about and exploring that topic itself further. A topic which we are going to be talking about today is how do sports teams make their money? How do they earn their income? How are they profitable in nature? How are the owners considering it as a viable venture to actually go out and own a sports team for huge amounts of money? It's huge. It's a whole industry in its own. It's a very significant venture for any businessman, businesswoman, anybody who is taking on this venture. It's really a risky venture, but at the same time, if you are able to execute it, it can reap you huge rewards. And I'm going to be citing various examples too with regards to this. So without any further ado, let's get right into the first point which I would like to address is that sports teams are considered they are considered as almost hallmarks of discipline, of dedication towards one cause, towards achieving perfection or getting near perfection in a very specific area, whether it is Formula 1, football, cricket, badminton, tennis, name a sport, and the main aim for an athlete there is to get near perfection as much as possible and to make sure that they are giving the best and more than that, they are being the best itself in their own category. Everybody has that aim when they are competing in a sport. That is a common rule, and that is why sports teams have become almost role models for discipline, for dedication, for role model for in fact any person who is watching them, because there is a sense of idealization which happens. People want to be like the athletes which represent those teams. They would want to be at a stature where those teams are, and that is what creates the level of fandom which is there, which is associated with any team. Like if you are supporting your favorite football club or you are supporting your favorite Formula 1 team, or your favorite IPL team for any examples as such, that really creates the level of fandom which any club, which any team actually gets, and that extracts the value out of that team. That is actually the main reason why these teams continue to exist. That is why teams, especially football teams, like if you have seen over the years, they've continued to carry on, because the fact is that then that fandom gets passed on from generations to generations. You would have often seen this many a times happening in sports where 3 different generations are the fans of the same club, because they associate certain values with that, and there is a sharing of values which occurs, and that is why this fandom occurs. So this leads to a very lucrative sport as such, especially to have sponsors, and that is the first earning stream for these sports teams. Sponsors have realized the fact that teams, especially sports teams, are a very good way to get positive brand image for their own company. It is what would help them, of course, get a positive brand image, but get more advertising space, especially in a live sports, whether it is cricket, again Formula 1, football, tennis, which again exists for long hours, like a football match is for 90 minutes. A Formula 1 race again for 90 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes. A cricket match, well, it is much more than that too. You get a lot of advertising space, and that really helps brands, companies make sure that the cause is being put forward, and that the cause which is being put forward in the right manner, and it's perceived in the right manner by the audience. And this ultimately helps them not only increase the brand image, being pursued in a better light by the audience, but also move more sales, move more units, more volumes, whether it is an automotive brand or a smartphone brand, or even a simple FMCG brand who is just planning to sell toothpaste. It could be any sort of a brand, but if their business is focused on consumers, they likely have some sort of a avenue where they can sponsor a sport team, and they reap the benefits of the values associated with a sport team, and the sport team earns the not only the money which comes from the sponsors, but sometimes if the sponsors have a good track record, then the goodwill of the sponsors too. And this is known almost like a cross marketing thing, where both the brands, both the companies who come together benefit from each other. It's almost like a win-win scenario, where the sports team has a positive impact on the sponsor who is selling their products, and the sponsor brings in a positive impact for the team because they are known to be a very ethical brand, for example, or they are known to be very supportive of other sports teams too, and that brings in a positive light for them, for the sports team too, and it increases their reputation. And this is known as cross marketing, and ultimately it helps them have more followers engaged too within their system. This leads us to transition to our second point. Our second point is merchandise, official licensed goods. As I ended the previous point with more followers being engaged for a certain team, for a certain sports group as such, that allows them to have more merchandise sales, to sell more official licensed goods. This is present throughout, like you have seen Manchester United t-shirts being sold, Ferrari t-shirts being sold, Mumbai Indians t-shirts being sold, or for example Ferrari shoes being sold, Manchester United shoes or shorts or any sort of equipment which is related to their actual sport being sold, and that becomes a merchandise or officially licensed product by the team. And as their fandom increases, the level of following which they have, they are able to move more units of that merchandise, and that again opens up another very important revenue stream, especially if you are a very big team. Like for example FC Barcelona, Manchester United. In Formula 1 you have Ferrari, Mercedes, or in cricket you have the Indian team alone itself, or even in the IPL you have teams like RCB, CSK, MI, whose merchandising is on another level because they have huge levels of following, and that can actually become a significant source of revenue for them. And this can only happen if either the team has very popular players, or at the same time they have had great performances throughout the years, because that is only going to increase their level of following. If the team has not had good performances, it will automatically translate into their merchandise sales also dropping, and that is the case which often occurs. But the main point here is that if a team is very big, very popular, has had a good track record in terms of their results, then probably they will have a very good merchandise sales too, and it contributing to their overall income. And that is why it becomes again a very important contributing factor to their revenue stream as such. And this is again in combination with another point which I would again like to address here. The third point, which is very interconnected with the second point, is ticketing and concessions revenue. Now often ticketing and concessions revenue, especially in the past 2 years, haven't had a great impact due to the pandemic, but before that it really used to contribute a lot of their income, especially before mainstream broadcasting took place. Ticketing and concessions revenue was one of the major contributors to the income. Now ticketing is basically the tickets which are being sold for a certain match, for a certain event, and concessions are the things which will be available there, and that could mainly it is the food and beverages which are available there. That again really accounts for a lot of the revenue when there is a lot of audience attending these events. However, in the past 2 years that hasn't been the case, but this is again in sharp relation to what has actually been happening. And this is again a really important point which sports teams actually utilize to increase their revenue streams. And this again is increases when the team is itself a lot very popular. Now, the third point and the most crucial point which actually enables these teams to run for a sustained period of time is actually the broadcasting rights. This is the mammoth revenue stream for any sporting team which you will encounter right now. Majority of the revenue, most of the revenue, the income, the profits, however you actually would want to term it, there are different terms, but however you would want to term it, most of it comes from broadcasting rights. Now, broadcasting rights are not given to the teams, mind you. These are given to the broadcaster, the television broadcaster, who would actually be broadcasting that event. Now, they are the ones who would be paying the official organizer, the official owner of the whole league itself, the governing body or the owner of the league, to actually broadcast that entire sport, that entire event match. And for that, huge sums of money are given, especially for very big leagues and tournaments, like for Formula 1, for the IPL, for football leagues, especially FIFA or the Premier League. For those, you will often encounter huge sums of money being exchanged between a broadcaster and the league owner itself, because they are the ones who actually enable these teams to sustain, especially the smaller teams whose percentage of income is majorly reliant on broadcasting teams. Now, that's not to say bigger teams also do not rely. They absolutely do, but for them it might be around 40 to 50% of their income. But for the smaller teams, it could be almost 70 to 80% of their income, and they are completely, you can almost say that they are completely reliant on these broadcasting rights. So this is almost the mammoth. It's a mammoth in itself. It's a mammoth contributor, which I think would be the most appropriate term to use, because the bigger the league is, the more reach it has, the more followers it has around the world, the more the money which the broadcaster will be willing to pay. Now, it of course also depends on the growth left, the growth possibility which is left. If the broadcaster feels that there is more possibility of more viewers joining in during their period of broadcasting, then they would be willing to pay even more money, because that they know that more and more viewers are going to join in, and that is why during the broadcast they'll be able to put in more ads, and they will be able to make up the money which they had given to the league itself, and they will also be able to become profitable. This is all a consequential event, but at the same time a cyclical event too. Like it's like almost a chain effect, where if the advertisers are willing to put up their ads during the broadcast, the broadcasters will be willing to actually broadcast the event itself. And once that happens, then only the teams will be actually able to sustain themselves. And the teams are able to sustain themselves, the whole league will actually continue to not only survive, but eventually thrive too. And that's the main reason behind why businessmen, famous people, actors, influencers do actually like to become owners or part owners of a certain team, because it allows them to not only build their reputation or drive their sales of the other businesses which they might own, but if they are able to come at a scale, they are able to execute their plans, the team itself can become hugely profitable. And due to the television rights especially, the teams are able to ensure that they are getting a constant stream of money on a year-to-year basis, and they are able to keep the teams running as such, even if not profitable, but they are able to keep at least the team itself running. Now, this is the whole ecosystem as such, but there are other aspects to it too, which I think many of you would actually have encountered too. Like, especially you have many streaming shows, many documentaries, many movies which are being made on a particular league, on a particular team, or even on a particular athlete who is representing the team. Now, this is again a part of that similar ecosystem. It does not follow the same model as such, but it again helps in driving brand equity. Brand equity means basically the recognizable, how much a brand is recognizable. Like, one of the best examples in recent times has been Formula One Drive to Survive. By the way, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. There are some technical problems with it. With sometimes it might not show the show in an accurate, the sport in an accurate sense, but overall a great show to watch, as it acts as a season, as a great season wrap up. And if you are a new follower who is interested in F1, you should certainly go and check it out, because that will help you get a greater sense of how the sport actually operates. Nevertheless, this is actually the intention of Formula One Drive to Survive, where it is not necessarily a business venture as such to like have more sales as such, but it will drive followers into our main business, which is the live races which are telecasted. So it helps in engaging more and more viewers in watching the live broadcasts which take place, and that will drive more revenue, and that will also encourage the broadcasters to actually pay more to pay for the rights of the F1 races themselves. So this is the whole cycle as such, as to how sports teams operate, and how not just operate, but mainly how they're able to earn their income and how they're able to earn profits too once they achieve a certain scale. So I hope that you guys did like the video. I hope that you did like my insights which I shared about how this unique sports world in terms of finances operates. I hope that you are able to put down your comments. It really helps me to improve my own videos, and if you would be able to put them down, it would even encourage me to keep going ahead and keep making these videos. And make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and do like the video as such, as it will promote the video in the YouTube algorithm. Anyways, I hugely thank you for watching this video. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye. Thank you so much.